Stacy in Arizona. Stacy, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I have a combination of both.
Go for it.
So basically, I'm involved in a case that is alleging physical abuse and domestic violence. I've had a couple of cases opened up with DCS. My very first case, I attempted to leave my husband. My husband was diagnosed with epilepsy, and he has these outbursts. Sometimes he doesn't remember. And when I tried to take my kids and leave, DCS turned on me, and they gave my kids to my husband. So after the very first incident, I did not have any trust with going to DCS or law enforcement. Mm-hmm. So I've had a couple of cases open, and after that, I tried to keep everything safe by myself. I tried to protect my kids on my own. So this case was open because my son went to school, and he said that my husband put a gun to my head. It was kind of crazy, and my kids say like off the wall crazy stuff because they both have disabilities. One of my son has a learning disability, and the other one has ADHD, and he acts out because of how my husband's been like aggressive and physical with him. But when I try to say that my husband didn't put a gun to my head, they say I'm downplaying the events, and they're charging me with neglect. I've done everything that they asked me to. I filed a restraining order against my husband. I moved out of the home. DV here, the advocates actually put me in an apartment. And that was a part of my safety plan because I literally don't have anybody out here. Because I was a victim of the system too, and I was actually adopted out here. My aunt has since moved. So now they're not trying to give me back my youngest. I have 4 children, and I have a 2- and 4-year-old who are very impressionable, and I haven't been able to see them in like a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And their guardian ad litem is trying to told my attorney that they made no mention of me and that they're not wanting to go home. So the guardian ad litem was going to come to my temporary custody hearing, and that was going to be her argument. So I vacated my trial at advice from my attorney.
You vacated your trial?
Yeah, for temporary custody. My attorney told me not to go to court. She told me that it wouldn't rule in my favor because my kids were not asking to come home when they're not even verbal.
Okay, sounds, I don't know the details of your case, but it sounds odd to me.
I've heard a story that the same thing before, Vince. Somebody's court-appointed attorney told them not to go to court.
I told her, so I emailed her and I asked her to respectively step down from my case. I wanted other legal representation, and I told her that I called my law library here in Arizona, and they told me to file a blank motion. She told me that I gave up my right to trial when I vacated, and she didn't let me know. She did not tell me that I didn't know that.
I didn't understand what you just said. A blank motion? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they told me to file a blank motion if I wanted to reschedule my temporary custody hearing. And my attorney told me that I cannot file a blank motion to reschedule. I gave up my right when I vacated my temporary custody trial.
How many court hearings have there been, trial or no trial?
I only had my petition, and then 5 days later, my temporary custody. So my case is pretty fresh.
Okay. This is what I would like you to do. Do you have a pen and a piece of paper?
I do.
Okay. So are you watching us on the live stream and talking to us on the radio, or just talking on the radio?
No, I'm watching on live stream too.
Okay, so you see the telephone number there, 888-888-6582?
Yes.
I want you to call that number tomorrow or tonight and make an appointment to talk to me on Monday. All right? And I'm going to try
Okay.
you've called me early, and that's good because now I can help you before the case gets really screwed up. You know, a lot of times people call me and like the disaster has happened. And,
Yeah.
and it's so difficult to try to put these things right back on the right track. I mean, it can be done. It's just hard. But since you're early on in the case, you know, maybe we can get some things done. I'm not going to mention what county you're in, but I see that on the call screen, and we do a lot of cases in that county, so I have a feeling I know what you're going through. So 888-888-6582, and I want to thank you for calling in and listening. Maybe you can call us back and tell the listeners what happened 3 or 4 weeks from now, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Miss Cisco, we've come to the end of the show. Can't hear you. Anyway.
Thank you. Erin does send her apologies. She's experiencing some technical difficulties.
Oh, that's okay. She's famous for that.
Well, apparently a car crashed into a pole by her house,
right.
And people lost power.
Right.
Unfortunately.
We have a show tomorrow night that's supposed to be live streamed. The original host of that show has resigned, and we're using some temporary hosts. But tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the live stream on the internet, we're going to be having a show, and Mrs. G is going to fill in as the temporary host with a guest. And I think she was trying to talk to Mr. Charles Lamar, one of our other daytime hosts during the week, to see if he was interested in filling in. But Mrs. G may be calling you, Miss Cisco or Miss Carranza, to help her out tomorrow night at 7. All right?
I'd be happy to.
All right, I want to thank everybody for listening. Tiffany, did you have any questions for me, or Aaron, any questions for me tonight? Because we have a couple more minutes.
I don't have any at this time, but I absolutely love your show. My husband loves you.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
He may not be my type, though.
He watches you all the time.
Does he?
When
Does
I
he?
came over here to visit my friend,
2 minutes.
He literally has you playing on the TV, and I was like, "Oh, look at this!"
Does he watch my YouTube channel?
Yes.
Okay. For those that are listening, I have a YouTube channel. It's called CPS Strategy Consultant, or you can just search my name, Vincent W. Davis. And we post a lot of videos there. And I've started doing weekly YouTube shorts. You know, have you heard of those YouTube shorts? They're videos that have to be 60 seconds or less.
Oh, God, no, I haven't.
Yeah, they're called YouTube shorts, and YouTube's really pushing, creators to do these shorts because apparently people want
because our attention span is getting smaller and smaller, Vince.
Right. So I do these shorts, and it's kind of funny, trying to keep everything within 60 seconds. Anyway, Shirley Griggs, thank you, and good night to you as well. And next week we'll be back with Aaron Carranza, and Amanda, feel free to join us if you want. I think we might be at a different time next week because of USC football. But we'll be posting that on the internet and on Facebook.
Are you a football fan, Vince?
I am a football fan, but
who's your team?
The Rams, the Los Angeles Rams.
I'm not a football fan, but I wanted to ask anyways.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you again, and good night to all. Have a good rest of the weekend. This has been The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. We'll see you next week on the radio.